CNN has reached out to the police for comment about today's protests. We have not heard back yet. But we saw young men, unarmed, protesting and being shot dead in front of our eyes, in front of Kenya's parliament. We saw two bodies lying for hours in front of Kenya's parliament. These men were armed with only banners and flags. Many of them had been singing the national anthem. But when they got close to Kenya's parliament, police were using live rounds and led to this tragedy. President William Ruto blaming it on criminals, but many of these young people already reacting on social media, Julia, saying we were only armed with water bottles. They were armed with live bullets. Who are the criminals? That is a question that President Ruto and his team have to deal with in the days ahead.
Yeah, and it's a question that the protesters face too. Larry, you mentioned that the plan was to be out there again on Thursday. Are they still planning to do so, even in light of what the president said earlier on Tuesday?
That is still the plan. They had called these 7 days of rage. Today was supposed to be a total shutdown. And on Thursday, they expect to go and occupy State House. That is where President Ruto lives and works from. And after today, the Kenya Defense Forces were deployed, the military deployed within Kenyan territory. And President Ruto's statement appears to set the stage, like I mentioned, for an even more violent suppression of these protests on Thursday. Right now as we speak, it's after 1 a.m. in Nairobi. There are protests. There are some people claiming on social media that there are bits of the city where there's still police cracking down on protesters, having followed them back home in places like Githurai and in Juja. So that is the stage for what President Ruto was talking about, Julia.
Yeah, Larry, I'm grateful to have you live to hear about your experiences today, so you can tell it to us. Get some sleep, please, and stay safe this week. Larry Madowo there in Nairobi for us. Thank you.
Sly Tata is a Fiero. Look at the way he's running. He's scared to die.
CNN has reached out to the police for comment about today's protests. We have not heard back yet. But we saw young men, unarmed,
Nimesikia hata uchungu mwingi sana wakati hii. Afadhali mungenipeleka pale kwa mili ya watoto ya mama. Watoto ya Rito wamekufa. Mnasuia
I'm here for Kenya, I'm here for my people, I'm here for your rights. Nitoe. Nitoe, Mama. This will protest constitutional.
Ghanaians will be quiet. Ghanaians will not turn up. Ghanaians will sit idle and allow their treasured state assets, our prize hotels, to be given away for a song in an unconscionable, obnoxious conflict of interest transaction. They have been put to shame.
Yes.
Look at the numbers today. Look at how many Ghanaians have come out.
Yes.
Since 6 a.m.
Yes.
Ghanaians are on their feet.
Yes.
And they are saying enough of the state capture.
Enough. Enough.
I want to commend all of you. I want to congratulate all of you. This is just the beginning of the struggle.
Yes.
And you have encouraged all of us in the leadership, the TUC, the Federation of Labour, the Minority Caucus, the Gadangbe Caucus, the La Youth Association, all the political parties who are coming together to organize this. You have made all of us proud. Thank the Wooloman Day with all the traditional leaders. I want to salute the Woolomen. They are good for Honorable Brian Chambo. If they are good for the sons of Freddie Blake, they can be good for all Ghanaians. That is what we are saying. It is not true, as you have seen, that these hotels are collapsing. It is not true that they have been run down. It is.
Yes, we are.
Okay, tell me why.
Well, our spirits and soul, so to speak, is back in this demonstration because it is about the sale of SNIT properties. And so because of workers' monies, which is in SNIT. And we're crying because people retire with next to nothing after having given their lives and their all to this country and contributed their quota to the country, to the development and progress of Ghana. And so if they have to go home as paupers, then all of us need to rise and stand against the sale of SNIT properties or assets. And indeed, not just these assets of SNIT, but then all state assets. Enough is enough. And for us in organized labor, this is why we support this demonstration. That is not the case. That is not the case at all. In fact, organized labor, TUC, and every worker organization has risen against anything that is not in the interest of workers. This is not the first time issues about SNIT is coming into the public domain. And in spite of the fact that representatives of organized labor on the SNIT board are in the least numbers, they still rose against it. And so you can go to the SNIT board and check their minutes.
Yeah.
So if anybody tells you that is not the case, that is not true. That is a lie. And indeed, after the Honorable Okujeto went to the, Okujeto Ablakwa went to the Shraj with the demands that this is what is happening and that it must be investigated. Even just around then, we knew that we were going to, and we have known about these issues all the time. But I keep saying and responding to some of these issues with that you cannot bring boardroom discussion into the open until you have got to a point where you're pushing and you can't push anymore. And if organized labor rose, we could go into the street, but it's just as well that we have all Ghanaians in the street because this is about all of us. And it's not just organized labor and us, but it's about you as well. And especially you young workers, when you get into the world of work, be interested in how you're going to retire because life is so short. So it's not true that organized labor has just been sitting. Of course not. I'm saying personally that I think that if this SNIT, I don't know whatever they work with, but if that portion of the Act 766 governing pensions in this country hasn't worked,
right, especially
with SNIT, as an individual, I think that it must be changed. It's not working for us. And I see too many issues. This is not the first time workers are fighting against SNIT and the management of SNIT.
CNN has reached out to the police for comment about today's protests that we have not heard back yet. But we saw young men, unarmed, protesting and being shot dead in front of our eyes, in front of Kenya's parliament. We saw two bodies lying for hours in front of Kenya's parliament. These men were armed with only banners and flags. Many of them had been singing the national anthem, but when they got close to Kenya's parliament, police were using live rounds and led to this tragedy. President William Ruto blaming it on criminals, but many of these young people already reacting on social media, Julia, saying, we were only armed with water bottles, they were armed with live bullets. Who are the criminals? That is a question that President Ruto and his team have to deal with in the days ahead.
Yeah, and it's a question that the protesters face too. Larry, you mentioned that the plan was to be out there again on Thursday. Are they still planning to do so, even in light of what the president said earlier on Tuesday?
That is still the plan. They had called these 7 days of rage. Today was supposed to be a total shutdown. And on Thursday, they expect to go and occupy State House. That is where President Ruto lives and works from. And after today, the Kenya Defense Forces were deployed, the military deployed within Kenyan territory. And President Ruto's statement appears to set the stage, like I mentioned, for an even more violent suppression of these protests on Thursday. Right now as we speak, it's after 1 a.m. in Nairobi. There are protests. There are some people claiming on social media that there are bits of the city where there's still police cracking down on protesters, having followed them back home in places like Githurai and in Juja. So that is the stage for what President Ruto was talking about, Julia.
December 7th. December 7th. Bam.
That's what I did. That's what I did. I was at the World Bank enjoying myself. And I was invited to come back, very risky. And I took one of the biggest risks in my life to go back. Because you know what? When you fight corruption, those same people fight you back. And if they can't fight you, they smear you. So they kidnapped my mother and held her for 5 days and said I should resign. And I refused. They threatened me. And even after I left, they continued to malign my name. That's why I wrote, fighting corruption is dangerous. But who will fight for you, you Africans in the room? I took a risk. Because even people, there are people, sensible people, who still believe Okonjo-Iweala did something. Just because those people try to damage your name. But in spite of all that, I don't regret one day. I went and I fought. And so when my grandchildren ask me, I'll be able to lift up my head and say, yes, I did something. What are you going to say?
I recall that I was a member of the finance committee that approved that facility from India. There was a tax exemption component in the machinery that was supposed to be imported for that purpose. So we've already approved a tax exemption for Commander Sugar Factory in 2015-2016. However, if under this new arrangement, there is a need for a tax waiver, I'm sure it will be within the remit of the management to make an application through the Ministry of Trade to ask Parliament on its own cannot get up and say that it is going to grant tax exemption. If, Honourable Member, you may sit down and listen.
Oh, look at this. Look at that.
Honourable members, we got your question. Your question was that Honourable Minister for Waste and Housing visited the chiefs and people of Edina, and in the conversation it happened that the minister was saying a tax waiver is supposed to be granted, but probably your side is obstructing it. Is that not the question? I think he is answering it, but he has gone through another way. So let me allow the...
Mr. Speaker, if you allow me, please, let me explain what he did.
Very well.
The minister was there about 4 to 6 weeks ago, and the chiefs of Commander asked him why Commander Sugar Factory hasn't been opened. What he told the chiefs was it was a minority side that is refusing for Commander Sugar Factory to be activated, and that there are some tax exemptions that have come to the House to help Commander Sugar Factory, and we have failed to pass it. Is that true? And the question is, those tax exemptions that we just passed, do we have any one of them that is supposed to help Commander Sugar Factory? And the answer is no. So did he lie to the chiefs, or what is happening over here? Listen, we are all doing politics. But let me tell you something. Don't deal with people's lives when it comes to politics. There is life after politics. This is wrong. Don't go and lie to the chiefs. I'm the member of parliament for Commander Ednegwafu Abrim. What answer you give here, I'll go and tell the people that you guys lied to them.
Honorable.
The government, of course, has already cut and abolished teacher training allowances and nursing training allowances. The president said even if it was going to cost him the election, he wasn't going to restore them. Didn't he say it? But today, with just 2 months to the election, feeling defeat staring him in the face, he is trying to make an about 10 and say that he wants to restore the allowances. Do you believe him? Do you believe him? We have to treat that promise with the contempt that it deserves. It is a propaganda promise. It is a 419 promise. If you vote for him, he will cancel it in 2017. We cannot trust him and his word on this issue. You can only trust Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Of course, the NDC and President Mahama are going about saying that these reductions in taxes that we are going to implement as part of our comprehensive program of economic reform, they are going around saying that our manifesto promises are going to ruin the economy. I'm just so baffled. You, a president, you have presided in 8 years over the collapse of our economy. If you knew the plan that could work for the economy and be successful, why haven't you implemented that plan in 8 years? Why? If you know what can work for our economy, why is the economy collapsing in your hands after 8 years? You clearly do not understand the economic plans and underpinning the MPP manifesto. So your task is to make our economy work. You cannot do it, and now you want to say the MPP plan cannot work. you have essentially no legs to stand on in saying the MPP plan cannot work, because your own plan has collapsed the economy, and we are bringing a new plan for the economy, and a new plan that will work. It will work. To say the MPP plan cannot work, you have essentially no legs to stand on in saying the MPP plan cannot work, because your own plan has collapsed the economy, and we are bringing a new plan for the economy, and a new plan that will work. It will work. We reduced taxes during our tenure of office. Corporate taxes were brought down from 32% to 25%, and at the same time we saw a major increase in tax revenue. So it makes economic sense, and we are going to focus on production, and we will not be distracted by the president and his comments on our manifesto. He should focus on fixing this collapsing economy.
Kita master do duas cena by the way that's for 40 no ku by the you bring one to 40 and now we 2014 and now we need 1.6 and now we are doing 12.6 check graphic for ya na career de and now we need and now we na 80 and now we are on 5.2 this akukwan ka high akukwan ka the 70 and then akukwan ka we are full to weigh 6 million see what again we one dan ya bayade John Ramani mama if you are some way they catch round minim say what TikTok share me ye and now we niama we be kakakre ya boni watch the way ntini unu obonsam e kwa akwa ubua oke unu obonsam kwa akwa ubua oke shene hu say bebi ni pa wole ne kom onyo ono dio onya de papo so abefa kon bone so na wa kasa wa papa ko pe wutu duro pe wo sekan pe wusu a wo kwa hayo a so kwa mde wa be no na pe nkotoku a wo kuma abo a wo de be hye papa ya de amenya afuwe ya de amenya me pem
o madina joma
mpacho metomins
na say amanfo say adwadi fom no mama niam bo ayeden niam bo fo mo anu ma se de tutum wogidi
baby nyeye na ema no bo ayeden first BC yoton first olunka we 2016 olunka yoton 15 cedi chese we 2 cedi 50 pesos
2016
2016 bag nyina na eton edu ho betima anya bag 2.5 kanisika
wow
ana 2.5 kanisika ana se 3 million na sesei bobi ayokofa no eton bag no 2000
Ghana cedis
titisika 20 million sana ayokofa no na wafaka ansa na we de abaha ansa na wa boton ndi say eton we 45
from 12 basis was na
eton 15
cities to 45 cities
sana eton is
and imagine so
imagine saton eton 3 cedi
and I say c'est mon ton 9
c'est eton 9 cedi c'est 9 cedi
and you who say amambu no 9 ko ya na
amambu no wambu akuafo amambu no nko bu akuafo a nkadwan no beba fom amambu na etesa nti nye edwonfo first me koton say ye na ayotombi media na ye haya ye mbeto nti obi o media me konya no fo na sa me bai na haya ho na ebeto na se no boy de nti
$1, 1 CD. In the time of Mills and Mahama, 2 CDs, $1. If I was them, I would say to the people of Ghana, I'm sorry. We are sorry for the poor work we have done. We're going to go and think about ourselves. But that is not the people we're dealing with. The fruits of office the money under the table has become sweet for them, so they're determined to stay. Are we going to allow that to happen? Are we going to allow that to happen? In Kufuor's time, one of the people who advised and helped him develop a strong CD was my running mate, Muhammadu Bawumia. Then he was deputy governor of the Bank of Ghana. It's one of the reasons I brought him to come and join me, that we will welcome the CD and create again a strong CD that will be able to allow us to develop our economy and allow our traders and our to be able to develop.
What is the difference between the ordinary thief and a political thief? Number one, the ordinary thief steals your money, your bag, your watch, and your jewelry, isn't it? But the political thief steals your future, your career, your education, your health, and your business. Number two, the hilarious part is that the ordinary thief will choose whom to rob. But you are the one who choose the political thief to rob you. Because we choose them. We vote them. We blindly say we are not blind. Who is deceiving who? The ridiculous part of the whole issue is that we will fight to defend and protect our belongings from the ordinary thief. Is it not? But we fight each other to defend and protect the political thief. Is that not what we do? Thugs will be fighting themselves to protect those that are stealing our career, stealing our job, stealing our health, stealing our success. What a shame.
If you reach a certain stage in life and there is nobody who can look you in the eye and tell you the truth, you are doomed. And that is where our country has gotten to. We need to rescue this country. Wallahi. And I feel very terrible as a Ghanaian at this time. This country is in serious trouble, ladies and gentlemen. We are in serious trouble. We need to rescue this country, ladies and gentlemen. The presidency has been so depraved, so muddied, so dirtied, that I tell you in all sincerity as a Ghanaian, that I feel terribly sad today as a Ghanaian. We need to rescue this country. Wallahi. Inshallah.
Please don't cry.
We shall rescue our country.
Government is broke, government is broke. But people are spending billions to go inside the government that is broke. Have you ever seen a minister who resigned because government is broke before? Government has no money. Have you ever seen a governor who said, ladies and gentlemen, when I was elected, I thought the government had money. Now I discover government has no money, I resign. Have you ever seen it? Government has no money, but they are bringing money out at election time. Where is that money coming from? So they are lying. What is happening is that there are two types of wicked people in government. Type 1, they eat current money. Any money they find in government, they will eat it. They are wicked about that one. There is type 2. Type 2, they eat current money and future money. They will say, my term will end next year. When I leave, how will I eat money? Let me borrow money now and borrow money of the future and eat it now.
Right, hello, good morning and welcome to the show. This is Good Morning Ghana Live on Metro TV. It's a Wednesday, the 26th day of June, 2024. By His grace, we're live and we're here with yet another edition of the show. Our gratitude to go to the Most High God for the rare privilege of being alive and, of course, the opportunity of having another conversation around the top stories making rounds here in our dear Republic. I'll let you into our panel for the morning's conversation shortly, but let's take a look at the front pages of our newspapers. Daily Graphic. At Graphic Business through Stanbic breakfast meeting, we need bailouts. Farmers, agri-business purveyors demand of government. We must work towards food self-sufficiency. Graphic MD rallies Ghanaians. Stanbic Bank pledges financing. Stalled projects will resume soon. President Akufo-Addo assures. Wasi more practice on the rise. Study reveals. The Ghanaian Times. 2024 elections. I'll safeguard Ghana's democracy. President pledges ahead of December 7 polls. 84,263 candidates involved in exam malpractices in the past 3 years. WAEC Don't abolish death penalty for all. Intentional murderers do not deserve to live, First Deputy Speaker insists. Daily Post. NDC not committed to free SHS bill. Afenyo Markin. Freddie Blay champions medical tourism. Bedietu Asante's ambassador at large. Spartan Eves debunks a Black West baseless claims. Communication Ministry upgrades 25 post offices. The new crusading guide. Afenyo Markin dares minority to clarify position on free SHS bill. Work on Nima Paloma drains kickstarts. Hassan Ayariga preaches peace between Kusasis and Mamprusis. NPP UK, YEF injects £1.2 million into Baumia campaign. World Vision supports communities to fight malnutrition. UCC Anes Yokobos. The insight. Akisoya Blast government says implementation of blanket-free SHS unintelligent. Communication and Digitalization Ministry upgrades 25 post offices, refurbishes 25 others for expanded e-services. The legacy of Zachmus, how a father's determination shaped his daughter's future. WikiLeaks co-founder Julian Assange is free. Concerned last citizens protest alleged land grab sale by private developers. The Herald. Ministers abandoned 2.37 million euros ambulances to shop for $34.691 million ambulances. General Legal Counsel hears petition against ex-speaker's daughter's legal qualification. YEA lists 1,452 companies in inaugural BEAP rollout. Mahama campaign team slams Benefsin over false accusations. Senate rejected my 34-year son's $200 million for Brian Champon's $61 million bid, Freddie Blay. I see. The Informer. 2024 elections, CPP missing in action. Baumia campaign boosted with £1.2 million from NPP UK. Fitch thumbs up Ghana, predicts expansion in economy. No illiterate polling agents, Mahama declares. Papavi Corps jailed 9 years. The Inquisitor, Ghana's weak voice, trouble at RMU over decision to honor Sierra Leonean First Lady. Alan unveils ambitious great transformational plan for Ghana's future. Instead of winning souls for Christ, Pentecost scrambles for theft in MPP. Charity Gbedawo named as Ghana's ambassador to Morocco. UCC Anes Yokobos. The Daily Statesman. No space for vigilantes, President Akufo-Addo. Nima Paloma drainage project takes off. Baumia's role in 2012 election petition contributed to Africa's democratic growth. BOG refutes claims of withheld $8 billion by MTUs and fintechs. Ochiman Task Force calls for arrest of police informants. The Daily Searchlight. Tax waiver scandal, part 1. Chinese beneficiary company of NPP tax waiver evading millions of cedis at Tema. My GTP will turn graduates into businessmen, Alan Cash. Bank of Ghana denies $8 billion loss due to fintech's transfer operations, but have reduced the number of fishing trawl times. Another Blackwire expose. Baumia's kleptocrat advisor exposed for grabbing prison service prime land. Afenyo Markin yells at NDC, you are not ready for free SHS bill. PAC's 2023 annual report on oil and gas bemoans decline on existing oil fields. Ochiini councils Napo as it seeks traditional and religious support for national development. Saglemi Housing Project will use open and transparent process upon Nkrumah. The Custodian. Declare your stance on free SHS bill. Afenyo Markin challenges minority. NPP UK, YEF raised 23 million cedis for Baumia's campaign. Nima Paloma drain reconstruction starts. UCC honors Ioko boss. IPPs to take haircut. The New Finder. Bank of Ghana spent 688.8 million cedis to print money. ECD rollout can reduce this cost considerably. NPP UK, YEF raised £1.2 million to support Dr. Baumia's campaign. Work begins on Nima Paloma drains. Bias credit ratings hurt Ghana's economy, Professor Agboyo. 2024 election, we have to address mistrust in EC, Professor Abuchi. Daily Post. Mahama is squeaky clean. You can't smear him with corruption. Benefsin and 3 other pro-NPP editors told after they syndicated a fake story about the former president on their front pages. Ambulance case. Take the witness stand. If you're a man, Edwige Tamaklo dares Attorney General. Economy Times. First phase of Petroleum Hub project to begin soon as $12 billion funding secured. Almost half of Ghanaians enduring severe poverty. Ghana Statistical Service report. Petroleum revenue plummet 25% amidst declining production. And that's about it for the front pages. We'll be back shortly.
Anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath.
I'm a fair missy way.
The patch of Bantama.
Matias. It's her smile.
The fresh breath.
Me, Gidi said we use Cal 360 toothpaste. Some kind.
Cal 360 toothpaste.
That's here. Cal 360 toothpaste. It's a gum protector. Onim jom kasa. Kile khosai.
Cal 360 did the way. It's cool mint. Gives me fresh breath and your confidence booster.
And you will so feeling to Cal 360 toothpaste.
Happy smile.
Cal 360 toothpaste, anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath. Cal, happy smile. This advert is FDA approved.
In today's modern world, stairs are a challenge, especially for our elderly and those with health concerns. Navigating them can be difficult and even dangerous, but there's a safer way to move vertically. Lifts and Elevators Limited Company, your answer to a more accessible and secure vertical transportation. Our elevators and escalators, including top-of-the-line pneumatic vacuum elevators, Fuji elevators and escalators, offer a safer and more convenient alternative, eliminating the risks of stairs and enhancing accessibility for homes, businesses, and hospitals. Choose safety and convenience with Lifts and Elevators Limited Company. Elevate your spaces today. For more information, visit our website at www.elevatorsgh.org or call now on 0200-535-515. Lifts and Elevators Limited Company, the elevator people.
Customer, I don't know who to say.
Malaria been actually on my number still.
Ah, one of them give us.
Give us a solid.
Yeah, sorry. What rest of so give us here and turn down.
What's a good answer? But for me to give us the and turn down.
Give us about me, sir.
Maybe I try the and turn down.
Customer. Give us that now. Back.
Onuya kayo, oba wa fa furo nom. De o ma no banu fo nom. Akwada wa ni fie dumie no ono nso nom.
Rise and shine. It's another day to stay on point. Toast is Friday, it's still on point. Watch is Friday all day long. Still on point, yes, it's still on point. It's still on point. Watch is Friday, it's still on point. It's creamy. For your toast, it's still on point. It's yummy, delicious. It's still on point. Still on point, yes, it's still on point. It's still on point. Still on point, yes, it's still on point. It's still on point. For your toast, it's still on point. It's still on point. Fortune spread, it's yummy, delicious. It's still on point.
Fortune spread, delicious, creamy, and always on point. This advert is FDA approved.
Hey, Walambo!
Hey,
I asked him to buy
I'm your original politician.
Hey, please don't make mistake. Talk to Papa. Open the back man. And you politician no gala. You there. Hey, Papa.
Papa, can ruffle.
The politician is the original, the first and the best.
What is? Ukota also for dear acrobat using it.
Politician, yes.
We are back, bringing you the latest lineup from Betway. Betway starts strong with their front two, with Free Play Friday and Swipe Bet. In the middle, you've got all the control with Cash Out and Build a Bet. Plus, with Win Boost, you can boost your sports bets. At the back, they have Smart Picks and the Partial Daily Jackpot. You always get way more with Betway.
This advert has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly. No under 18. Terms and conditions apply. Betway. Get way more.
Bar Herbal Hospital. Specialists in every kind of bone disease.
Bar Herbal Hospital. Hey, baby, a sanya will be a nanso. Yadi, Sapa, a dumpemu yadi.
Spinal cord, swelling of the arms, arthritis, bone injury, swelling of the leg with reddish color around it, and so on. See, Bar Herbal Hospital has special ultra-modern machine for checking up the body. I have tried them and I got good results. Try Bar Herbal Hospital.
Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. With me on the show this morning, I have Kwesi Pratt Jr., the editor of the Insight newspaper. Kwesi, good morning. Also with me on the show this morning is the Honourable Member of Parliament for the Tema Central constituency, Yves Hansen Norte. Yves, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Right. Now, let me talk to you about that family toothpaste, which is affordable, top quality, and also approved by the Food and Drugs Authority. I'm talking about KEL 360 toothpaste. It provides you and your family with all-round dental protection throughout the day with freshness. KEL 360 toothpaste is good for kids, children, and adults. Let your family be a proud family when they step out by constantly using KEL 360 toothpaste. It brightens your teeth, prevents cavity, and with its cool mint, gives you fresh breath throughout the day and protects the gum from decaying. For consistency and quality, use KEL 360 toothpaste. It's another product from Samara Company Limited, producers of Sasu. It's available in all supermarkets, malls, and provision shops. Call Samara Company on 0246 864 798. KEL 360 toothpaste. Happy smile. And enjoying the fruits of your labor is as important as enjoying the mansions of your labor. The pains of climbing the stairs when not exercising could be challenging, irrespective of your age, but worry no more. Lifts and elevators have got you covered with the best portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators on the market today. It's a simple self-supported elevator for both homes and offices, and guess what? It can lift your goods too. Wheelchairs can fit in easily, and they come in 3 custom-made models. It's affordable and can be installed within 3 days. Visit Lifts and Elevators at Sakumono, or just call them on 0200 535-515, 0200-535-515, or send a mail to elevatorsgh@gmail.com for consultations and the best solutions in easy vertical movement. Okay. All right. Let's start off with Kenya. Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
You mentioned my name, sir.
Kenya, it appears that I think it's happening in Kenya, but we are caught up in it. We're told that a group of members of parliament were caught in the middle of the chaotic situation in Kenya as protesters continued flooding the streets of Nairobi, the capital city of the country. Now, Ghana Web earlier reported that the Ghanaian MPs who are leaders of a local government committee were visiting the Parliament of Kenya when the protests besieged the House. And a video cited by Ghana Web showed the Ghanaian MPs together with their Kenyan counterparts being rushed to safety. And GH1 TV has now identified the Ghanaian parliamentarians who were caught in the crossfire. We're told that we have Emmanuel Akwesi Jemfi, MP for Dotobri, Neil Antivandapoy, MP Odododiodo, Thomas Nyakwampim, MP Asrojaman, Sylvester Matthew Tete, MP Botiano English Yamanfro, and Mohamed Hadi Tuferu, MP for Nantong. And unrest has been on for some days now. It reached the doorstep of Kenya's parliament yesterday as hundreds of protesters stormed the parliamentary complex, voicing their discontent over a controversial finance bill that proposes tax increases. Dense clouds of tear gas had reportedly engulfed the parliament as police officers struggled to disperse the crowd. A BBC report said the MPs were engaged in a heated debate over the finance bill before it was passed. It added that hundreds of MPs were trapped inside the parliament building as police continue the efforts to repel the protesters who have breached the complex. Kenyans have been protesting against the finance bill, arguing that it imposes additional financial burdens on citizens already grappling with high cost of living. The government, on the other hand, insists that the tax hikes are necessary to increase revenue without exacerbating the national debt. Initial proposals included a 16% sales tax on bread and a 25% duty on cooking oil. In response to widespread public outcry, the government made some concessions, yet the amended bill, which still contains tax increases, was passed on Tuesday. Okay. We're told that some of the MPs have spoken, and they say that they are safe. Say, by God's grace, we are safe. So that's really the issue. And we've had the President, William Ruto, saying that organized criminals had infiltrated what was meant to be a peaceful protest by Kenyans to foment trouble, and has assured the public of measures to curb the situation. We're told that they're adding the military to the police to deal with the issue. And former President Uhuru Kenyatta has also issued a statement. Raila Odinga, who was also a prime minister, has also issued a statement. And it says that Raila Odinga says that the country is paying a steep price for obstinacy of the government. And Uhuru Kenyatta also says that leaders must know that power and authority they have is donated to them by the people. All right. Ibs, let me start with you.
Good morning, Randy.
Yes.
And good morning to our viewers and listeners as well. Whatever is happening in Kenya is happening in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not something that cannot happen in other parts of Africa. If you look at the genesis of this, it's led by very young people. They call them the Gen Z. People were born between 1991 and 2001. And these are the people that are pushing for their own rights. I mean, these rights are enshrined in the constitutions of Kenya and are just exercising what we all believe in. I mean, Uncle Kwesi Pratt is a veteran when it comes to demonstrations. But the unique nature of this demonstration is that there's no leadership. It didn't come from the political class or the traditional political class and political parties. These are people who have mobilized themselves over the internet using WhatsApp, Facebook, and have genuine concerns. Because if you look at the finance bill, it's not just got to do with taxes. It's also got to do with taxes on electronic transactions, like we had here, like e-levy. Yes. Most of these young people are saying that, look, we trade over the internet on Instagram, through Facebook, and if you're going to come after that revenue as well, it becomes a problem. But it's a larger problem of the African context. You know, to quote Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, he said that the African is capable of managing his own affairs. But it seems that year after year after year, he's been proven wrong. because it's as if we are not able to manage our own affairs. The issue, whatever is going on in Kenya, something similar went on in Ghana just about 2-3 years ago when we were trying to push e-levy.
Yes.
But our youth did not rise to the extent that you see.
It was just the MPs.
Exactly. That notwithstanding, we have our MPs who got caught up in the problem that is going on in Kenya. I mean, Sylvester, I spoke to him yesterday. He was fine. He was sitting in his hotel room. And we couldn't even speak for long because the internet was very poor. And I think the state security there is trying to manage information that goes out. So even the internet is not working well out of Kenya. However, we know that they are in safe hands and hopefully they'll come back to join us soon. But I want to quote something from what the former president said, Uhuru. He says the leaders must know that power and authority that they have is donated to them by the people.
Yes.
It's the people that have put you there. The people are saying that they are not prepared to pay more taxes. Well, if that is it, give them what they want. It might mean that the state will go through some difficulties in the future because what were these taxes for? The taxes that they were asking for was to take care of debts that had been incurred in the past. Obviously, because I sit in as part of the political class, I wouldn't say that taxes are not good. But sometimes the people also want to see the effect of the taxes that they've paid in the past. You know, I listened to some of the youth through BBC.
Yes.
And you can clearly tell that they cannot see they cannot match the level of taxes that they pay to the kind of development that they see within their economy or within their society. And therefore, on the back of that, they were revolting. It's similar to what we find in Ghana. I mean, you see the level of taxes that you pay, and you are driving over on the motorway to Tema, and the whole place is bushy, you know. Just the middle. The whole place is bushy.
With manholes.
And you ask yourself, where did the money go? In the last 6 years, we've borrowed $11 billion. But there isn't much to show for that in terms of, real growth that would change the destiny of this country. You look at small countries. I was reading something on South Korea recently, post-war South Korea. They borrowed money from Barclays Bank. But what did they use the money for? Productive activity. We have gone back from, anyway, let's stick to this. It's unfortunate that we find ourselves in this quagmire as Africans because what is happening in Kenya is similar to what happened during the Arab Spring. It started from Tunisia, it rolled over to Egypt, later Libya, and then others even took advantage of it and destroyed the whole thing. So we also have to manage it carefully so that it doesn't become a domino effect, you know, that after Kenya, it goes to the next place, it goes to another place and might end up here. We also have to, it's a warning and a wake-up call for the political class to sit up and deliver the goods that the people are asking for. Because if we go for election after election, and we don't deliver be able to turn the aspirations of our people into reality, obviously, this is what will happen. This is a new generation of Kenyans. 20 years ago, there's a generation of Kenyans that did something similar. If prior to that, about, let's say 40 years ago, there was a generation of Kenyans that did something like that. That was even bloodier.
Yes.
2012, they did something similar, which was even worse. They had to even change the constitution. And this thing is simmering. It's simmering. And it's not just Kenya. Most African countries are going through the same problem. Most African countries are going through the same problem. High rise, high inflation, high cost of living. People are unable to afford basic things. You know, today I was listening to one radio station on my way here. Somebody was asking whether our breakfast, the cost of our breakfast last year is still the same. It's not the same. Because with the same amount of money, you buy virtually half the same value. You know, so there are genuine concerns in Kenya. And I don't want to limit it to Kenya.
Yeah.
it affects Ghana as well.
Right.
Kenya's situation is no different from what Ghana is facing. And I pray that we'll find solutions that would grow our economies and create jobs for our people so that our youth will be busy doing something else.
Right.
Lastly, yes, even though I support people exercising their rights when it comes to this, I think that sometimes, youthful exuberance pushes people to do more than they should be doing. For example, to the extreme that you go to burn your parliament. That's to the extreme because there were foreign MPs there. Can you just imagine that one of our MPs got injured or was killed or got caught up in some beating, whatever? It will have different implications. The implications will not be limited to just the fact that he was there, but even between our government and the government of Kenya, people would have to answer questions and all that. So sometimes we also have to limit it. Lastly, the use of force. I pray that the police would restrain themselves. Sometimes when leaders call in the police and they want to call in the army and all that, I think it's a show of force. But sometimes I believe that negotiations and jojoing is always better than war. And if, as quickly as possible, they're able to identify the leaders of these youth groups, talk to them, negotiate with them, get them to counter, let them understand what the implication of this can be. And then on the back of that, take some decisions so that at least we save the state called Kenya and then we nip it in the bud. But there should be a learning curve for all of us.
Obviously, Ives believes that beyond the safety and security of our 5 MPs there are implications for Ghana and the rest of Africa. You believe so?
Oh, sure. But you see, Randy, the irony cannot be lost on us. Here is Kenya. This very government in Kenya sending a police contingent to Haiti in order to restore calm. And the contingent arrived in Port-au-Prince yesterday or 2 days ago. What an irony. And this is at the instigation of the U.S. Yes. You understand? The U.S. insists that Kenya should send policemen to Haiti to restore calm. And look at what is happening in Kenya. Randy, as we speak, 7 people are confirmed dead. 7 confirmed dead. The indications that there could be a lot more deaths because many of the people who died, have still not been accounted for. So it could rise. As we speak, evidence shows that at least 50 to 60 people have been seriously injured. Now, this morning, I listened to the president of the Medical Association of Kenya on the British Broadcasting Corporation claiming that the Medical Association actually set up facilities for treating the injured and so on. Those facilities were also attacked by policemen and soldiers. You understand? That sounds quite like Gaza. You understand? It quite sounds like Gaza. You are shooting, killing, and injuring people and denying them access to medical care. I mean, what kind of government, would do that? Now, I've listened to the president of Kenya. He made a broadcast, yesterday. And I feel very sad, that a leader like that has emerged in any part of Africa. He's lost it completely. He's lost it completely. There's no reason why he should continue to be leader of Kenya under any circumstance. Rather than blame his government for attempting to institute these draconian measures at the instance of the International Monetary Fund, he's blaming criminal gangs. The people who are organizing the demonstration have been infiltrated by criminal gangs. He pledges to deal with them, in most drastic manner and to protect the people of Kenya and so on. And this president is living in cuckoo's land. Clearly living in cuckoo's land. He's not on earth.
He also came to power through the same bit, 2010. He led huge demonstrations. Him and his partner, what's his name? Uhuru.
This is one of the presidents who actually give Africa such a horrible name. You know, he's lost it completely. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Now, what is happening in Kenya, and I agree with you, is not peculiar to Kenya. It is a phenomenon which spreads throughout the so-called third world, not just Africa. We are about to have elections in December, on December 7th, 2024.
Yeah.
And our politicians will come and ask for a mandate, make all kinds of promises, and so on. And we will give them, believing that they will fulfill, you know, the promises that they make. As soon as you have elected them, they ignore you. They go to the World Bank and the IMF. And nothing will prevent them from implementing what the IMF and the World Bank says, even if it means killing the citizens and so on. You understand? So what has happened in Africa and generally in the third world is that when we have changed governments, what we have actually changed is the representative of the World Bank and the IMF in our country. That's what we changed. They are all the same. It's all the same IMF and World Bank asking for your vote. But they come in different phases.
Oh, it's true.
You understand?
To a large extent.
So you choose one, he will go back to IMF and World Bank and implement the austerity that is imposed on you by the IMF and World Bank. You choose the other, they go back to the IMF and the World Bank and implement the same policy.
Because they fund your campaigns. They fund the opposition, fund your campaign.
So look, why don't we stop this game and elect the IMF and the IMF directly to come and run our countries? Yes, the people we elect simply represent them. You understand? Now, this government, the Kenyan government, is imposing draconian taxes on the people. For what purpose? To make enough money
to meet IMF conditionality.
To pay debts. These debts, which are unpayable, I mean, according to Fidel, these debts are unpayable. We should not be paying the debt. First and foremost, because these debts were not accumulated in the interest of the masses of the African people and third world people. Imagine Zaire under Mobutu. When the Western countries and their institutions were pumping loans to Zaire and so on, they knew that Zaire could not pay. They knew that Zaire could not pay the loans. The only reason for making those loans available to Zaire was that they wanted Zaire to serve their foreign policy interests. They wanted Zaire to become the bastion against so-called communism in Africa. So these loans were meant to pay for their achievement of their own foreign policy objectives. Why should the African people be called upon to pay these loans? You understand? Clear. Now, recently in Ghana, and I think it's important to come to Ghana, some Western ambassadors, including the United States Embassy, have issued statements to the effect that if the homosexuality bill is passed in Parliament, these loans and so on would not come to us.
Yeah.
So these loans are being used as weapons, as tools. In order to get our government, to pursue certain objectives that the West dictates. So these loans are not meant for our development. They are not meant to ensure that we achieve the development goals either set by the UN or the AU and so on. They are meant for us to become client states of the West.
But that's how
and yet, we are the people who suffer to pay the loans. Bread. The Kenyan government was going to tax bread. You understand? Why is Kenya receiving so much assistance from the West and Western institutions and so on? One of the reasons is that because they've agreed to send its policemen to Haiti to go and do the dirty job of Uncle Sam.
They're fighting us about on their behalf.
Exactly. Okay? So these debts should not be paid. It's immoral to pay these debts. And the time has come for us as countries of the so-called third world to unite, to build a forum and to tell them that, look, we are not going to pay for these debts because you impose them on us in order to achieve your own foreign policy objectives. And at the time that you were making these loans available to us, you knew that we could not pay.
If I could add to what Uncle was saying, you know, you talked about this client state of the West.
Yes.
Doesn't it fall within the idea that these states that we run, or our states, this Ghana, Togo, Benin, are all artificial creations for the West? Because...
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, you go back to 1884. How did these states get created in Africa? Otto von Bismarck,
and his friends sat at the table,
who was Chancellor of Germany at the time, invited his Western counterparts to a meeting in Bonn. They put a map of Africa on the table before them. They took pencils and drew lines across.
I mean, like pizza.
Yeah. They drew lines across. These lines became boundaries of countries. There was no African at the table in 1884 when Otto von Bismarck invited his counterparts to Bonn to divide up Africa. And you see, Randy, these borders are so senseless, it's unbelievable. Look,
I completely agree.
Master, I've been to Togo, the Ghana-Togo border. I'm sure you've been there. I've walked across.
I was there just a month ago.
Not the main crossing. I've walked across the Ghana-Togo border. And what you see there is shocking. You see one house. The bathroom is in Togo.
Yes.
The kitchen is in Ghana.
If you want to buy land in Lomé,
yes,
the landowners are in Ghana.
Yes.
So the boundary doesn't make any sense at all. You have Ghanaians living on the Ghana side who wake up every morning and farm in Togo.
And go to school.
And go to school in Togo and so on. So these boundaries doesn't make sense. And it's the same across all of Africa. You go to La Côte d'Ivoire, and the border with La Côte d'Ivoire, and you find the Nzima people. The majority of them are in Ghana.
I went by road to Burkina Faso.
Yeah.
You know, I flew to Tamale, and then by road to Burkina. And
the majority of them are in Ghana. The minority is in La Côte d'Ivoire.
It's not
the paramount chief.
It's in Benin. That's my village. That's my mother's village.
It's really not different from. You see, when you when you use the beach road.
Yes.
You see the beach road. So there's Sakumono, and then there's the Tema. You know, there's this police. It used to be a colonial barrier.
Yes.
Which the barriers are just like that, like something like that.
Yeah.
You just walk across.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or the Ayimensa Tobus.
You know, I think Africa missed an opportunity post-independence, unlike the Asian countries who devolved back into their original states. We, cemented the European created states. And I know there was an OAU
then
conference at that time, I think 74, 64, where there was a debate between Nkrumah and Nyerere and co. You know, some were of the view that we should devolve back into our original states.
But they destroyed those states.
Exactly. And then others too were saying, but if you see the Asians, they were able to do that. If you take the likes of, even if you take India, India is a federation along their ethno-linguistic lines, along their traditional old states or original states, but in the federation called India. We have superplanted this European one on our original states. And in fact, if you take Ghana, there's always a conflict between the two. You juxtapose that by 54 states in Africa. And you see that, there's no way forward unless we go back to the drawing board and deal with these issues at the base.
Okay.
Because without that, obviously, this client-state relationship would always be there. They will put you in power. You take power, you put you in power, and you serve the interest of, your boss. That's the problem.
Randy, I've had the privilege of reading a book which will be launched on the 1st of July. It hasn't come out yet. And the author tells me that he gave me the very first copy. Dr. Don Atta has written a history of Ghana, which is going to launch. And Randy, you should read it.
I'd love to do that.
It's shocking. The revelations are so very shocking. You know, when Lord Lugard set up the West African Frontier Force and was actually attacking indigenous states in West Africa and so on, in order to entrench British rule and so on, go and see the officers under his command, the list of officers under his command. Some of those we hail today as heroes of national liberation were officers under the command of Lord Lugard. You know, that's not just all. It also tells you about the plan that the colonialists had in order to ensure that even after independence, we will not be able to break free.
Exactly.
And Lord Lugard wrote extensively about that. You know, Lord Lugard, actually it was his wife, who was a journalist and so on, who came up with the whole idea of indirect rule. But Lord Lugard somehow is regarded by some historians as the apostle of indirect rule. And he wrote extensively about these things. And they are captured in Dr. Don Atta's book that I'm reading. I haven't gotten far. I'm not even in the middle. It's a 500-page book.
Whoa.
You know. And I'm compelled to read it because I'm supposed to do the launching of the book.
Oh,
you understand? But it's
but
so
you have just
revealing.
a week. You have just 6 days to finish.
Randy, that's my headache. That's my headache. I'm on page 202 or so. You know, and I have to finish, and I have to do all the things that I have to do. But I will finish reading it. But what I've read so far is shocking and revealing. You understand? And our leaders are sitting around ordering soldiers and policemen to shoot ordinary citizens.
Okay. So I have more news for you.
Yes, sir.
I have more news for you.
Yes, sir.
And like the Americans say, I'm bringing it home. The former finance minister, Setekpe, has questioned the legacy Ghana is leaving following news that Eurobond holders will forgo about $4.7 billion owed them by the government. He explained that to some extent, this debt forgiveness will ease a bit of the stress on the economy and facilitate the release of the subsequent IMF funds. However, Mr. Tekpe said that despite this upside, he had mixed feelings about debt forgiveness, noting, quote, "What legacy are we leaving? As a country, HIPIC was total debt forgiveness. Within 2 decades of default, and here we are being forgiven again. Is this a legacy that we want for Ghana? I say this with some regret and confidence in the fact that this was envisaged when we discovered oil." He disclosed that the NDC government had anticipated the possibility of a debt default and the possibility that without certain measures in place, Ghana would continue slipping. As such, the government had put in place measures to prevent, but things have not gone as planned. Quote, "So when we discovered oil, there was a 1.5-year debate as to what to do with oil. And we pledged both sides. One, we said never should we allow cocoa and gold prices to go up. Then we're happy. Go down. Then it's all tears. Stabilization fund. We said if the stabilization fund is going high, we could cap it. Use it for 2 purposes. Contingency fund. Then you come to the sinking fund. That's for debt repayment. Because you can't just keep borrowing. We, the NDC government, had used approximately $350 million to take off President Kufuor's first bond. And then we left $250 million, and $200 million was used by the current government to pay off the balance. And we did a debt restructuring backed by the World Bank guaranteed bond, which is now impaired. This comes after the government has reached an agreement in principle with 2 bondholder groups to restructure around 13 billion of its debt. And they give us some details of that. Apparently there are 2. There's a PAR and there's a DISCO. And so you have the option of choosing which one. I'm sure that those technical details will be dealt with. Now, banking consultant Dr. Richmond Etoini has warned the government against completing the external debt restructuring agreement with its official creditors, reviewing whether the deal is a savior for the city. He said the country is treading on a risky path where it will continue to rely on foreign funds, leading to more borrowing in subsequent years. He was contributing to Joy Prime's morning show on Tuesday with Rosalind Feli, following Finance Minister Dr. Amin Adams' announcement. He says, "Let me make it categorically clear to Ghanaians that the trajectory we are treading on dangerous paths like Argentina and Greece. And we don't want to go there because every 4 years we would have to go and restructure the debt because you haven't put in anything that will be able to pay the cash flows." In a related development, Kenneth Kwamina Thompson, CEO of Dalex Finance, warns that Ghanaians should brace themselves for tough economic times over the next decade. Thompson expressed skepticism about the effectiveness of debt forgiveness, suggesting it merely postpones Ghana's economic challenges rather than resolving them. Quote, "I have been speaking about the Ghanaian economy since 2014, and I can assure you, as night follows day, that this $300 million from the IMF is merely covering the cracks. Nothing will change." It says, "As Ghanaians, we need to start preparing for a rough next 10 years. We talk about savings, but when has the government ever met its revenue targets? And do you think international creditors are so naive that they won't take the money if it's available? Why would they give us a free pass? These are commercial creditors. He remains unconvinced that the situation will improve for Ghanaians. There is nothing that will make me even consider for 1% that anything is going to change. The situation with the local currency is not going to change. All that's going to happen is that soon as the money comes in, the currency will stabilize temporarily. He predicts that after the December elections, the Ghanaian cedi will once again decline sharply against major international currencies. Quote, if we couldn't solve our problems with over $10 billion in 6 years, how are we going to solve them with $3 billion? Let's be real. I've heard economists talk endlessly, and after the fact, they come and explain what happened. I can assure you that's what will happen again. When has the government ever met its revenue targets? That's where what you plan on paper, and then there's the reality. He emphasized that Ghanaians should prepare for the worst, as the coming years will be very challenging. Let's acknowledge that the next 10 years will be very rough. The government will have very little money to work with, and we are also cut off from international capital markets. He's advised government to find ways to cut expenditure and increase income.
Yeah, that's very busy.
You know, when I watch television, listen to radio and read the newspapers, I'm always shocked.
Why?
Because of what our leaders celebrate.
Okay.
What are they celebrating? You are so indebted, you can't pay your loans, you've reached a state of bankruptcy and so on. Your creditors meet and say, look, we have to get at least some of what we gave you back. And for that matter, we are restructuring the debt, okay? We are giving you a small percentage, you take that for free, and so on. We are changing the rate of interest on some of the debts so that we can get something back. And our leaders surprisingly are celebrating this as a mark of confidence in the Ghanaian economy. Madness! Complete madness. You listen to communicators from your party and they say, this is a mark of confidence in the Ghanaian economy. How is this a mark of confidence in the Ghanaian economy? How? That we agree that we are so broke you can't pay your debts, and it's a mark of confidence in the economy? And they are saying that the economy will rebound. Rebound from where?
Rebound to be able to pay the deferred payments.
But
That's all.
It depends on what you do.
That's all. But even if it will rebound, it will rebound only to the extent that you are able to pay your creditors.
Even the relief.
But even that one, I doubt. Because the trajectory we are on does not lead to resource accumulation.
Thank you.
Even for the purpose of paying debts.
Exactly. That's what I wanted to.
So as for development, forget it. You understand? And our leaders are celebrating this.
The president says that it will pave the way for the resumption of all stalled projects.
As a president, you can forgive him.
Why?
Because this president has been honest with us.
How?
Oh, absolutely honest with us, Grandy. Grandy, this is the president who came and told us that he cannot manage the economy.
When did he say that?
When he was contesting for elections in 2016. The reason why he brought Dr. Bawumia on board,
okay. I now understand you.
Was that he needed somebody who could manage the economy.
Okay.
And that he was incapable of that. This is honesty. You understand? This is honesty.
Your sarcasm this morning is...
No, it is not.
On a different level.
The person was so honest with us. He didn't promise us anything. He said, rely on Bawumia and he will deliver.
That's why I brought him.
That's why I brought him, because I cannot manage the economy.
He didn't add that. Those are your words.
No, he did.
He didn't add that.
Randy, have you listened to Nano Hininto, who was General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party at the time Bawumia was presented? He said that's what they were told.
Yes, the president himself said it.
Yes, so
the only thing is that he didn't say what you added. That he can't do it.
At least it's implied.
Okay, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
At least it's implied.
Yes.
Okay. So this is an honest man. He didn't deceive us at all. He was so honest.
We didn't catch the honesty.
But that's your headache. If you didn't catch the honesty, that's your headache. You understand?
Randy,
But even for some who caught the honesty, they believed that he had found the whiskey. You understand? And perhaps, just perhaps, if they had read the thesis that Dr. Baumia presented for his doctorate, they may have hesitated in buying into this honesty of the president. I've taken the trouble to read the thesis. You understand? Randy, I hope you've read the thesis that he presented for his doctorate and so on.
I haven't.
Oh, I'll send you a copy. You know, I've read it. When I read the thesis, I couldn't doubt, you know, why we are in this mess. You understand? But be that as it may, I mean, we are celebrating 40% inflation. What kind of country is this? We are celebrating the fact that now government bonds mean absolutely nothing. They have no value. We are celebrating it. So if you have leaders who celebrate indebtedness, who celebrate a certain level of debt forgiveness, who celebrate inflation when it reaches 40% and so on, what kind of future can this country have? And the two persons who spoke, Mr. Thompson and Mr. Tekwe, read what they said. They paint a very bleak future for 10 years, the next 10 years, what we are likely to suffer as a nation. As a result of this contraption.
I mean, we are being allowed to breathe a bit.
Yeah, breathe a bit. You know, it's like calling for a temporary ceasefire in Gaza.
Yes. Yes.
You know what that means? Temporary ceasefire in Gaza. Stop the war, send them bread and petrol to run some generators and so on. And then after that, go and kill them again. That's what we are facing. It's like the situation in Gaza. Yes, and the shock of it. And what shocks me is that they are celebrating this. You've reached a deal with the IMF, okay? And that deal simply says that, look, freeze public sector employment. And the number one problem you have in your economy is unemployment. One of the key problems you have in your economy is unemployment. It says freeze public sector, employment. And you are happy. And you are talking about development. You have entered a deal with the IMF in which they tell you that your educational policy needs to be reviewed. And this morning I'm reading the newspapers and I'm shocked. My own nephew, Afenyo Makin, taunting the opposition that they're against the SHS and that they don't want a new bill passed in Parliament and so on. Meanwhile, you have reached an agreement with the IMF to review the SHS program. Who are we fooling? Who are we deceiving? Randy, I am very worried about the future of Ghana. Especially the immediate future of Ghana.
We can be fooling without intending to fool people.
But Randy, whoever wins the next election, they should be careful.
That's a big task.
Now, they should stop making promises. They are coming to take over a bankrupt nation. That's what they are taking over. So they should stop making those lofty promises and so on. Because when they take power and they face the reality, they will smell pepper. Indeed, if the MPP should lose power now, it should be a blessing for them. They would escape. They would escape the Kenyan situation. It is those who are coming in who will face the reality of the bankruptcy and so on. You understand? So those who want to come in, they should take their time. Of course, there are some of them who are completely loony. I'll tell you a story. Yesterday I got to the office and there was a letter for me. And there are those letters, I read them. So I opened this letter and read it. And from some guy who says that God has ordered him to be president of Ghana. Okay. And that he is asking me to help raise funds for his presidential campaign. I say, what kind of God do you worship? This God who decided that you should be president of Ghana, he didn't give you the resources.
God,
and we are coming to
God directed him to you.
That God must be wacky. A God who directs a presidential candidate to me for financing is wacky. So there are all these lunatic people, you know, who think that they can be president. So as of them, leave them. They are loonies. They don't know what they are doing.
We don't take mental health seriously in Ghana.
Which I think we should begin to take mental health seriously in this country. As for these loonies, you can allow them.
Yes.
But the people who have their heads screwed on.
We think so.
No.
We think we need to be checking the screws.
No. Randy, it's not everybody who is trying to be president who is loony. I think some of them have their heads screwed on. You understand? They should be careful what they say now.
Okay.
Because we will hold them to the promises that they are making today.
Yes.
No matter who they are, we will hold them to the promises they are making today. And if they continue talking the way they are talking, they should be careful. Within the first 12 months, 24 months of the administration, they may have a Kenyan situation on their hands.
So if you put on all your caps,
yes,
should we be as concerned as these persons think we should be? Kenneth Thompson, Setekpe, Dr. Tuahini.
In all honesty, we should be concerned. I don't even know whether to laugh or to cry. Because we've been here before.
Yes.
And yesterday I was having a conversation with one of my colleagues and I told him that, look, it feels like HIPIC 2.0. Because if you know how I went into HIPIC, it was the same thing. And after that we got some debt forgiveness, some breathing space. And even that breathing space, these donors are not going to bring you cash. They bought us rice to do the Cape Coast Road, if you remember.
Yeah.
They gave the Japanese.
HIPIC was even total, right?
Yes, total. But
it was total debt forgiveness.
Yes, but there will be some conditions in there.
Yes.
There will be some other conditions in there that obviously will not. They brought us, I remember they gave us rice for us to do the Accra Cape Coast Road.
But they must sell the rice of their farmers.
No, exactly.
Yes.
In fact, that rice, they brought it from Thailand because Japan had invested in Thailand, in the Thai rice, and they brought us rice. So, obviously, some respite will do. But the most important thing is what you do with that respite. Because if you are going to use that respite to take care of recurrent debt, we'll come back to square one. And that's why I was saying that I don't know whether to laugh or to cry, because 20 years ago, we went this path. We believed that we would come out and then 20 years down the line would have become an industrial society. 20 years down the line, we are back to square one. Going to ask for debt forgiveness again.
Master, 20 years ago, at the time that we went to HIPIC, we were spending 2/3 of our export earnings on debt servicing. Today we have exceeded that figure. Today we are spending 128% of total national revenue, not export earnings, total national revenue on debt servicing, debt repayment, and public sector emolument. We are worse off than we were 20 years ago when we went to HIPIC.
So, coming back to my point, the respite is not the most important thing. What you do with that respite is the most important thing. For example, if you use that respite to take care of education, yes, education serves a purpose, but 20 years down the line, we need to use that respite to develop our productive sectors, our manufacturing sectors and our productive sectors with value. Sectors that will bring value. Because no country under the sun has borrowed their way out of poverty. No country. Not China, not Japan, not South Korea, none of them. Any country that has come out of poverty in the last 100 years, even America, when it became great, it was because they were producing, they were actively manufacturing. So, for me, not to sound pessimistic, I'm a perpetual optimist. we recognize the problem and then solve the problem. What Ken Thompson and co are saying are factual. It's true. If we don't take the bull by the horn and resolve the problems, public expenditure, the cost of running government alone is so high. Today we have to cut our coat by our coat by the size of our cloth, because we cannot afford to do the same things over and over again. We cannot continue to live the way we're living and expect change. No. For that one, on that score, I side with them. But being a perpetual optimist, I believe that we've come to a realization that, look, we cannot borrow our way out of poverty, and therefore we have to take the necessary steps. That I believe that hopefully when Dr. Bawumia gets the nod, we'll be able to also work alongside with him and get things done or get Ghana changed, because that is the only way. That is the only way. Otherwise, we'll be back here 10 years down the line discussing the same thing, because we'd have gone the Argentinian way, where every 4 years they go and review. You know, you even see an Argentinian ship in Ghana some time ago. Yes, creditors will chase you everywhere. And it is no different from even your private life. If you run a business, the business goes into difficulty, you cannot pay. Until the business stands on its feet and is producing, there's no way you can take care of the debt. And it's the same thing that applies to the state. Until the state is able to, do proper value addition, not mining. Mining, we know what we are getting from there. Cocoa is finished. What else is there? So we would have to look at productive sectors, whether it's agro-processing, whether it's manufacturing, garment manufacturing, whatever it is, something that will earn us valuable income, hard foreign exchange, so that we're able to take care of our debts as a country and go for it. And there's countless examples of countries that have been through similar situations and have come out. Malaysia did, they came out of it. South Korea did, they came out of it. South Korea, they even borrowed money to produce hair, wigs. That was their first export. Wigs. They took the money from Barclays Bank and they did that. And that's, earlier when I was speaking, I was talking about this 10 billion we had borrowed in 6 years. I asked myself, and Ken Thompson speaks about it as well, 10 billion in 6 years. What did we do with the 10 billion? If you used it for infrastructure, no problem. But that infrastructure may not necessarily bring you growth. The kind of growth that creates jobs and creates wealth for the state. That same 10 billion, I can give you an example of a country like Vietnam. Samsung took 17 billion there, and that 17 billion yields Vietnam over $100 billion a year just in electronics exports. All the televisions and mobile phones that Samsung sells around the world comes out of Vietnam with a similar amount of money. So ask yourself what we did with our 10 billion in the last 6 years. We used it to pay recurrent debt. So whatever you do, it's just your expenditure and your income. Until you're able to build that income portion and the state is able to raise enough to take care of its basic needs and debt, we'll be sitting where we're sitting, and we'll come back to the same point 20 years down the line. So for me, my suggestion will be that whatever the respite is in the next 3 to 4 years, whatever we need to do to whether if it means we have to go out there and bring foreign investors to come and invest in certain sectors that will help us grow our exports, let us do it. If that is all we can do as a government, let us do it. Let us do that. Let it create the jobs. Let it bring value into the economy. Let it bring valuable exports into the economy so that we make some good revenue out of it. And then, obviously, we'll be able to now take care of our debts and grow from there. That is my suggestion. And that's what I believe that when Dr. Bawumia gets the opportunity, he will do.
So on the last part, what do you say to people who say that why will I entrust the future of this country to the same people who took us into the ditch that we find ourselves in?
So if you say the people that took us into the ditch, that will be wrong. You see, the ditch, we're already heading towards the ditch. We started heading towards the ditch.
But we pushed faster into the ditch in the last 8 years.
We were heading towards the ditch as far back as 2007, 2008, when Kufuor went for the first Eurobond loan. Mm-hmm. It was, we had a 10-year period to pay. Mm-hmm. And it was going to be due after that. When Kufuor left and Atabills came, they continued. Mm-hmm. So it was like free money, kicking down the can down the road, and we'll catch up with it later. Today, they cannot catch up with us. So it was going to catch up with us.
But if
in fact, it was even going to catch up with us. The first set was going to catch up with us in 2017.
We started moving towards the ditch.
Yes.
February 24th, 1966, we started. But you see, over the last 8 years, there has been an acceleration.
The acceleration came up.
There has been an acceleration.
In fact, that's what I keep coming back to the fact that COVID exposed us. It made the people of Ghana. It's like you be with your home, with your family, and you've lost your job, but you're not able to tell your wife and kids. So you pick from here, you borrow from here. You're just keeping a good appearance. Exactly. Then all of a sudden, all those streams are closed. Obviously, you become exposed, and you have to tell your wife and kids. That's what happened to Ghana when COVID
because
came.
I was even going
because when COVID came,
I'm not sure that is what happened. Listen to your own parliamentary candidate for Zanlerugu. She's the one who came and told us that they gave her part of the COVID money for her campaign. They gave her part of the money to share among constituency chairpersons and police station agents and so on.
We can come back to that. That's the money.
COVID gave you so much money that you could actually afford to use some for campaign.
The point I wanted to raise with you was that even if we were to look at just Eurobond, and you trace the thing back to 2007, when the capital market became open as a result of debt forgiveness and our debt profile and all that. If you look at that 10-year period, from 2007 to 2016, how much of Eurobond money did we go for? As against 2017 to 2020.
So between 2007 and now, we've done 15 billion.
Yes.
And
out of that 15 billion.
11 billion was done between 2017 and now.
Not even now. 2017 and 2020 or 2021.
21. And then between 22 and now.
Yes.
That's not even Eurobond. Other borrowings, we've done 2 billion.
No, I'm saying just Eurobond.
So
we used 4 years, we took 11 billion in 4 years. When for 10 years, we are down only 4 billion. So the issue of the acceleration into the ditch, because if you trace it to 2007, from 2007 to 2016, if Eurobond, we did only 4 billion. Then in just 4.5 years, we went 11 billion. At the time, and you see, I'm saying this, at the time when we had been complaining about Ghana's debt situation, at the time when we had been complaining about debt to GDP, then we get an opportunity, and what we do is that we almost treble or triple.
Because we're just borrowing to pay recurrent debt. And for that one, I always believe it's a problem. If you borrow to pay recurrent debt, it doesn't make sense. That's my view. You borrow to take care of productive activity. So if you...
when we complain, they told us that we don't understand it. There's reprofiling and something. All manner of adjectives.
We did rebasing and all those things.
No, I'm saying this one. When we started complaining, we were told about reprofiling and something. We didn't go to business school. We didn't go to Ivy League, so we don't understand those things.
No, we understand.
That's where we are.
No, but the truth is that it cannot be attributed to a particular government only. That's what I was trying to drive. But he is talking about acceleration. But I'm saying that it is the nature of the way we have structured our economy from day one, maybe from 66, when we couldn't fully industrialize till date. And for me, I don't want to go back and forth on who did what and who did what. Let's look at the solutions, how we find solutions to the problem. And that solution is for us to industrialize. At any cost, we have to industrialize.
But my brother, first of all, we have to find solutions to the problem. I agree. We need to understand the problem. We need to agree on the problem. What are Ghanaians looking for? The average Ghanaian family is just looking for the ability to be able to grind pepper. Don't talk about the addition of KK. Just grind pepper for the family of 5. That's all. Now, I don't know if you go to the market. I do sometimes. A ball of tomatoes this size is 5 cedis. Randy, a ball of tomatoes this size is 5 cedis. Now, I have the benefit of old age. Okay? So, listen to me very carefully. one ball of tomatoes cost more than my first car, which I bought in 1976. Can you believe it? One tomatoes cost far more than my first car, which I bought in 1976. And I bought my car in 1976 for 350 cedis. You understand?
Yeah, but the value of the present value of the money and the future value of the money would not be the same.
Yes.
So if it was 350 then, 350 in today's present value would be completely different. It might be the same as, I mean, if you could buy a car for £100 in 1980 or 1981. Today, that same £100 is the equivalent of maybe $100,000.
The fact is that today, what I spent in buying one ball of tomatoes is more expensive than what I spent in buying a car in 1976.
On the face of it.
Yes.
That's the reality. In terms of real values and so on. You understand? Now, listen. If one ball of tomatoes like this is 5 cedis, and there's a family of 5, mother, father, and 3 children, and mind you, a ball of kenke is how much?
5 cedis.
5 cedis, from 50 pesos to 5 cedis in less than 8 years, and so on. How do they survive?
No, so
the people are not asking for much. They just want to be able to buy kenke and have pepper and some very little fish to go along with it. That's all they want. They are not asking for the moon. They are not like the middle class and upper middle class and so on, who are looking for land cruisers and so on. They are asking for kenke and fish.
So it means that you need 10 cedis to eat a bowl of kenke and fish.
One person?
Yes.
Oh, stop that.
No, I'm saying 10 cedis.
How?
That's what it means.
One of my friends,
yes,
when he sits down to eat.
Oh no, as for him,
hold on. He actually eats 6 balls.
Oh no. Because he asked for that one there. That one. We have to. He needs to see a specialist.
But he's a Ghanaian.
No, but on the average, let's say if somebody who eats just 1 ball, that's the point I'm making, Kwesi.
Well, most people would eat 2 balls.
So, Kwesi, even if it's 1 ball, the point I'm making is that what it means is that
1 ball is
you need a minimum of 10 cedis to just eat a bowl of kenke and fish. Not so?
Yes.
I'm not sure.
No, I'm just saying.
I'm not sure because Randy.
So if the person has to eat 3 times.
No. Randy, it's more than
even 2 times. That's 20 cedis.
No, Randy, it's more than 10 cedis. Recently, you heard the kenke sellers
now they sell the pepper.
That the pepper would be sold.
They sell the pepper.
They sell the pepper. So factor that in. Now, why do they sell fish for 5 cedis? What kind of fish do they sell for 5 cedis?
You know why they sell the pepper?
The cost of the tomato and onion.
Half of the tomatoes in Ghana is imported.
Yeah.
It's imported. The onion is coming from Niger, the tomato is coming from Burkina.
Yeah.
We do ours, but post-harvest losses alone would account for the rise in price because we don't have any mechanism or structure to manage agriculture as an industry, as a business, to make sure that...
I have deliberately stopped buying okra. Because the last time I attempted to buy okra, Randy, one was for 2 cedis.
Even the fish that we are eating...
One okra.
The fish that we are eating is not coming from Ghana. It's from Mauritania and Morocco. It's all imported. So that kenke table that you see, if you are not lucky, the kenke itself, the corn, some corn is imported as well. So the corn might be imported or partially imported. The fish might be imported. The
corn meal itself is imported.
The onion is imported. The what do you call it? The vegetable oil that is used to fry the fish is imported.
The fish itself
is imported. So you are eating somebody's inflation.
Okay. So
if the person happens to be like you, the water he will top the kenke with is also imported.
I drink tap water.
So your colleague John Jinapo,
NDC,
MP for Yape Kusogu, it says in 8 years the NDC borrowed $3.5 billion Eurobond but managed to pay the Eurobond taken by President Kufuor. The MPP borrowed over 11
It was paid by us. They put the money aside, but
yes.
we paid for it. Yes.
The MPP borrowed over $11 billion in 4 years, aside the $2.5 billion taken from Franklin Templeton. We must be thinking of the exchange when we start servicing our external debts. It's very gloomy. But there are just a couple of messages that I want to. I was expecting this one when we're discussing the first issue from Dr. David Percy. Current events in Kenya. He says we must take note that several African governments are in a contest to determine who is the most loyal and dependable stooge of the U.S. Kenya and Ghana are in that league. Meanwhile, a principal purpose of the U.S. and the entire West is to ensure that Nkrumah's statement that Africa is capable of running his own affairs will never come true. Debt is a key instrument for keeping Ghana and Africa forever in chains and on our knees. That's Dr. David Percy's view on this. The leader of the APC, Hassan Yariga, he says that I'm enjoying your conversation this morning. We all know the problems and the solutions, but when given power, we drive the vehicle to different directions. We keep recycling these two parties. Let me tell you, promises are failed Ghanaians. Let's change the two parties and vote APC. He says 32 years after independence, Ghana can't even feed its children, house its citizens, educate its people, high unemployment, high rates of goods and services. We can't even build roads and infrastructure. He says the car is not a toy for us to be changing drivers' mates. He says, tell my brother that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia should concentrate on finishing the 8 than breaking the 8 because he is in power. And there's an interesting one.
But Randy, there's something which is not true about what you say.
Okay.
Which is that we all know the problem and we all know the solution. It's not true. Because I'm listening to all these people who want to be president and who want to win elections and so on. They are still in the neoliberal frame. Okay. If you know the solution, why are you still in the neoliberal frame?
Okay. So
all of them. I haven't heard anybody speaking outside the neoliberal frame.
So listen to this interesting
one. So we don't know the problem. Yeah. We don't know the solution. We are still caught up in the quagmire of neoliberal capitalism. That's where we are.
So Morris has this interesting one. He says, it's possible to launch Ghana Beyond Aid in your first term, then celebrating getting aid as an achievement in your second term.
That's a bad one. That's a very bad one.
It's a naughty one.
Very, very naughty. Actually. Very naughty.
Very interesting. Now, this says Kenyan youth have demonstrated quite clearly that you don't need an opposition leader to stage a demonstration. Using parliamentary majority to pass unpopular legislation will be resisted. No amount of live bullets, tear gas, pepper spray can stifle or stop popular protests. It says, in analyzing the issues around the debt exchange deal, you don't even need to apply the first blush rule to scrutinize it. Where the first public announcement was made says a lot, doesn't it? This from Pakwesi Planjus, a journalist. We'll take a break here. When we return, there's some concerns about the Electoral Commission. We'll look at that after the break.
The confidence in our economy is going to come back stronger. Because the world is no longer interested in investing in Ghana because of those there's restructuring. After tomorrow, it will be a different story. Watch the cedi to the dollar after tomorrow. Watch the cedi to the dollar after tomorrow. I know you are interested in that story. Let's watch it and see. The confidence will come. The investors will return to Ghana. And the growth trajectory will even become clearer for all of us. So this election is an election for us to win. The NDC can no longer campaign on the economy. Our record is better than their record. On the size of the economy, we've done better than them. On per capita income, we've done better than them. On job creation, we've done better than them. On economic growth, we've done better than them. They say we went to IMF, but it's not easy to be under an IMF program. Because we've seen them before. When they were under IMF program, by 2016, they missed all the targets. So far, Ghana has become an example. We met all our prior conditions, and the IMF praised us and disbursed $600 million. We did our first review. We passed all the tests. The IMF praised us. They disbursed $600 million. On 28th of this month, we are doing a second review, and I'm telling you that we are going to pass. We will pass. We will meet all the targets, and the IMF will disburse money. Cedi to dollar again. Watch it. When the IMF disburses money on 29th of this month. So everything we have to do to reset our economy, we have done it. We are not going back. We are going to go forward. And so please, ladies and gentlemen, it started from President Kufuor, who identified the land. It took President Akufo-Addo to come and cultivate the land. It would take Dr. Bawumia to bring the food home so that we all eat and rejoice together.
It's another day to stay on point. Toast is Friday, it's still on point. Fortune's Friday all day long. Still on point, yes, it's still on point. It's still on point. Fortune's Friday, it's still on point. For your bread,
it's creamy.
For your toast, it's still on point. It's yummy, delicious. It's still on point. Still on point, yes, it's still on point. It's still on point. Still on point, yes, it's still on point. It's still on point. For your toast, it's still on point. It's still on point. Fortune spread, it's yummy, delicious. It's still on point.
Fortune spread, delicious, creamy, and always on point. This advert is FDA approved.
Anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath.
I'm afraid Missy Wayne.
The patch of Bantama.
Machasi. It's her smile.
The fresh breath.
Me Jidi say we use Cal 360 toothpaste. Some kind. Cal 360 toothpaste.
Gaskia, Cal 360 toothpaste. It's a gum protector. Onim jom kasan. Kile kosan. Cal 360 did the way. It's cool mint. Gives me fresh breath and your confidence booster.
You will see so feeling kika when you know Cal 360 toothpaste. Happy smile.
Cal 360 toothpaste, anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath. Cal, happy smile. This advert is FDA approved.
In today's modern world, stairs are a challenge, especially for our elderly and those with health concerns. Navigating them can be difficult and even dangerous, but there's a safer way to move vertically. Lifts and Elevators Limited Company, your answer to a more accessible and secure vertical transportation. Our elevators and escalators, including top-of-the-line pneumatic vacuum elevators, Fuji elevators and escalators, offer a safer and more convenient alternative, eliminating the risks of stairs and enhancing accessibility for homes, businesses, and hospitals. Choose safety and convenience with Lifts and Elevators Limited Company. Elevate your spaces today. For more information, visit our website at www.elevatorsgh.org or call now on 0200-535-515. Lifts and Elevators Limited Company, the elevator people.
We are back bringing you the latest lineup from Betway. Betway starts strong with their front two with Free Play Friday and Swipe Bet. In the middle, you've got all the control with Cash Out and Build a Bet. Plus, with Win Boost, you can boost your sports bet. At the back, they have Smart Picks and the partial daily jackpot.
You always get way more with Betway.
This advert has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly. No under 18. Terms and conditions apply. Betway. Get way more.
Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. So with me on the show, I have Kwesi Pratt Jr. and the Honorable Eves Hansen Norte here with me on the show. Now, Ayesoko, that could somebody be big, but Betway's cash out be bigger. Betway is giving you more control over every thrilling bet you place. Enjoy the biggest and most reliable cash out in Ghana on Betway without any hassle. Sign up today at betway.com.gh. Terms and conditions apply. This is not for persons under 18 and is regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Betway, get way more. And Blue Jeans energy drink has been on the Ghanaian market for over 20 years. We already know what it does for the body. It contains vitamins and nutrients like vitamin B2, B3, B6, B12, as well as taurine and guarana, which are known to boost your strength and energy as well as promote high performance and endurance. Blue Jeans energy drink has been tested and tried. It's indeed the best. Blue Jeans energy drink is for bold and active men and women. So go on, grab a cold can and power your day. It's in shops nationwide. You can also reach Budget Cash and Carry Limited on 0208 128190 or 0550010000. Okay. I've just been shown an update. Apparently, the young people in Kenya are not stopping at this parliamentary thing. They're actually now moving to what they believe is the main target. And there's actually a flyer that is going around. I've asked the producer to put it on the screen. But their next move is actually on the 28th of June. And guess what? Occupy IMF and World Bank offices. Yes, 28th of June. Occupy IMF and World Bank offices. And they refer to them as enablers of Zakayo and its oppressive government. I'm sure Zakayo is...
the Bible.
Zakayo is Ruto. I'm sure it's his nickname or something.
No,
so yes, they say Occupy. So you see it on the screen pretty shortly. It says Occupy IMF and World Bank offices, enablers of Zakayo and its oppressive government. Location: Delta Center Building, Menengai Road, Upper Hill. And it says 8th day of rage. We will not be beggars in our own country. Hashtag total shutdown Kenya. Reject Finance Bill 2024. We will not be slaves to the system.
It's escalating.
Yes, yes. I'm sure that when it's ready, we'll put it up for you to see. Now, the Dean of the Law School at the University of Professional Studies, Accra, UPSA, Professor Ernest Kofi Abochi. Okay, so that's what you're seeing on your screen. That's the next step for the young Kenyans. Occupy IMF and World Bank offices. Yes. So that's on the 28th of June. Power to the people. All right. Okay. So the Dean of the Law School at the University of Professional Studies, Accra, UPSA, Professor Ernest Kofi Abochi has called for an immediate step to address the mistrust in the Electoral Commission and its work. He suggested that the appointment process of the chairs and other members of the Commission going forward be broadened and consultations widened to ensure such appointments reflected the choice of the masses. He made a call at the annual public forum of the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences in Accra on Monday on the theme National Elections in Ghana, Issues and Prospects. Professor Abochi was speaking on the topic Policy and Institutional Framework of National Elections in Ghana. He said the EC was constitutionally structured and established to deploy the electoral agenda of Ghana, adding that it was tasked with the mandate of supervising and administering the elections. Article 45 of the Constitution mandates the Commission to, among other things, compile an electoral register, demarcate electoral boundaries for both national and local elections, educate the Ghanaian people on the electoral processes and its purposes, and undertake programs for the expansion of the registration processes. These functions, Professor Abochi said, made the EC the sole body of elections in Ghana and justified its elevation above others in matters dealing with electoral governance. Again, he said, that also explained why the Commission was constitutionally set up as an independent body, detaching it from the main political branches and actors of the state. However, he noted that the work of the Commission over the years had been the subject of deep contestations, especially by the two leading political parties, the National Democratic Congress and the New Patriotic Party. Quote, ironically, to either party, the EC is only good when the party is in power, in which case they see nothing wrong with its activities or moves. To the other party in opposition, the EC is to be looked on with troubling suspicions and its decisions grilled with skepticism. Professor Abochi said such mistrust was concerning, attributing the skepticism and suspicions around the activities of the EC to the current mode of appointment of the Commission and other members of the Commission by a sitting president. He indicated that the current status quo where the commissioner was appointed by the sitting president, who may himself be a candidate in the next election, remained problematic. He noted that the situation, if not checked, could lead to a phenomenon in which governments may want to come in and inevitably leave with their own appointed electoral commissioner. The trend is disturbing because even if this situation is deemed merely perceived and not actual, the fact that the parties view the trend as real implies that they are likely to witness retaliatory responses when they take turns of power, leading to a complete destruction of the functional autonomy of the EC. He said it was imperative, therefore, that immediate steps were taken to deepen trust and confidence in the appointment process of the EC commissioner, adding that one way to do that was to deepen and broaden the consultative aspect of the appointment process. Quote, I will suggest that in any future appointment of a commissioner, sitting president should do well to actively consult opposition parties and engage in back-channeling with key stakeholders in the process. Recent controversies surrounding the use of a Ghana card in voting, voter registrations and re-registrations, etc., reflect that trust deficit, and the challenge unfolding needs to be cured. Okay. Now, Professor Ali Dusaid, who is the head of the Department of Political Science, University of Ghana, also speaking at the event, stressed the need for the Commission to put measures in place to restore public confidence in its operations. He also urged that the powers of the IPAC, Inter-Party Advisory Committee, be strengthened to make decisions of the committee binding on all parties, including the EC. He spoke on the topic contribution of political parties to national elections for development and assessment. Okay. In a related development, former national chairman of the MPP, Peter McMahon, has emphasized the need to regulate campaign financing in Ghana.
Very true.
Speaking at a dialogue on national elections in Ghana, he lamented how political monetization had been normalized in the country, a situation that he believes undermines the practice of true democracy. Mr. Menu explained that these acts prevent competent persons from contesting elections due to the highly monetized space. Quote, if you spend so much money, you are dividing some of your qualified citizens who, because of money, cannot compete in elections. That should not be the case. But I've heard on various platforms for the last 20 years or so that there's a need for reform. Then we'll put it on the back burner. Then when elections are approaching, we bring it to the front burner, where we talk about it but never act on it. I think this is something as a country we must be bold, and things that are not going well for us, which are going to stifle our democracy, we must put a stop to. And he says the Electoral Commission should set up an enforcement unit to supervise the accounts of political parties. The EC should take seriously the establishment of an enforcement unit, which would include a legal advisory support to enforce laws regarding the conditions for maintaining a registered political party and accounting for political party campaign finances. If
in fact, what McMenu has said is extremely important if we are to safeguard our democracy. The cost of running for political office in Ghana is exorbitant, and it's become a business for some people. In fact, I dare say that even the cost of political campaigning is maybe directly proportional to the cost of corruption in Ghana, because you see that most of the I would say political corruption that we find within our space is one way or the other related to political campaigning. Between now and, let's say, December, you'd hear of fertilizer smuggling. I mean, many other things, even narcotics. Everything that you can think about that is negative. People are doing it just because they want to raise resources to run for public office. So it's a very, very, very big problem. In America, they take it very, very seriously. They trace every source of your funding for your election. For me, 2020, I kept a diary. I know everybody who gave me anything towards my election so that I could account for it in the future if need be. I kept a diary for that. In America, they do that religiously. Why? Because they want to protect the sanctity of the people making the right choice. When you come to our space where poverty is prevalent, you can give somebody 20 cedis to change his own destiny. 20 cedis to change his own destiny. because of poverty. And therefore, it is a very good call. It is a necessary call, and we must act on it. Giving the EC the teeth to bite is also important, so that we're able to safeguard the sanctity of elections. Without that, we'll get to a point that we will become a banana republic. When you go to South America today, the likes of Mexico and co., you cannot even run for an election if you don't have an army. The last elections that they had in Mexico recently, people were just killing each other. I mean, you have to have a whole, machinery for protection just to run for public office. It's like a suicidal game. You might even die along the way because you want to serve your people. Why? Because all kinds of resources have entered your politics. You don't have to even go for Guinea-Bissau. It's become a narco state. Today, if you want to run for office in Guinea-Bissau, you have to be backed by one of those big narco institutions around the world. Yes. So it is a big problem.
Sad.
It is a big problem. And it's creeping into our Ghanaian politics. Because how do you run an election? It doesn't cost you less than maybe, I mean, I don't know other people's numbers, but at least $500,000 to run for a parliamentary seat in Ghana. Throughout the primaries till you get to win the seat. So you ask yourself, really and truly, I mean, how are all the political parties or how are all the political functionaries funding these processes? At the end of the day, it will end up coming out of the coffers of the state because somebody has to pay for it one way or the other. So it's extremely important that we regulate political party funding in Ghana. We regulate how politicians fund their campaigns so that we're able to manage the process and allow competence to also come in. Because I know some of my colleagues who lost their seats to people that I personally know, and I don't know, I believe they are not competent. But we've lost competent people to people who had money or were money bags. And this is not the first time. It's been happening since at least 2000 till date. Because when we speak to some of our leadership, they tell us that, look, when we came in 96, this was not the way it was. But today, even the delegate structures that we have, so the political parties themselves have created, a problem where the delegate structure that we have all the way to the top creates avenue for people to now pay for all these things. We've even expanded our political bases just to prevent that, but it's even made it worse. Because in the past, we used to have just chairmen voting, let's say in the MPP. Today we have 750 people voting, and all 750 people expect the candidates to come and give them a token one way or the other. Where's all that token coming from? People paid as high as 5,000 cedis per delegate. Some paid as low as 300 cedis per delegate. But that is, where is all that resource going to come from? Is it coming from his private business? Is it coming from donors? Is it coming from friends? Who are the friends? What are their interests? What are their future interests? So, Honorable McMenu's call is very, very important, especially coming from him, who has been a party chairman before. He's an experienced electioneering person in Africa. He's been an election observer in many other countries. And it's the right call, and I sincerely support him. And I believe that if we want to safeguard this democracy of ours, we need to manage our funding sources and know where the funding is coming from, at least. Even through, not just the EC, but even the political parties. And the state itself must be up and doing. Thank you.
How can I disagree with my friend, Mr. Peter McMenu? Andy, don't look far. Look at the leadership of the political parties we have today, who are leading the political parties, and compare that to those who led the political parties in 1992. The story is finished. You understand? In 1992, when you spoke about party chairpersons and so on, we're talking about somebody like Darocha, talking about somebody like Kojobo Tio, and so on. That was the quality. Look around today. When you spoke about general secretaries of the parties and so on, look at the names which existed in 1980.
Even parliamentarians.
Yeah, and look at what we have today. Look at regional chairpersons of parties. Randy. Today, a lot of regional chairpersons of parties are functional illiterates. That's true. I'm not exaggerating. Look, in days gone by.
Not in the MPP.
Don't be tempted. Well, resist the temptation.
Well, I know it's temptation, but
resist it.
I would be guided by President Kufuor. President Kufuor had a quote on temptation.
Okay.
And I'll be guided by that quote, President Kufuor. Look, 1992-93, who were the regional chairpersons of the NPP? Professor Fobi.
Yeah.
Professor Donko Fojo and so on. They were the regional chairpersons, and I can extend and so on. Today, who are your regional chairmen? Masa, who are your regional chairpersons today?
I go home. Greater Accra, I go home. Why?
It's okay. I don't want to go there. So there's something really wrong with our politics. And if care is not taken, we will soon reach the stage where anybody, including a lunatic, can take bags of cocaine to Europe, come back and buy the presidency easily. We're almost there. We've had cases of parliamentarians who bought their seats, drug dealers who became parliamentarians. So we've had all of that in our history. And if we continue on this trajectory, we are going to reach a stage where loonies, and drug cartels and so on will be choosing the president for this country anytime soon. And I'm worried about that situation. So to that extent, I agree with my very good friend, Peter McMahon, that we need to do something about the situation. I agree with all the others who spoke about the need to ensure that the Electoral Commission is sanitized. How do we do
Professor Bochi.
Yeah, Professor Bochi and another person. That the Electoral Commission is sanitized.
Professor Lidu said.
Yes. How do we do that? By stopping the employment of party communicators as electoral commissioners. If you don't stop appointing party communicators as electoral commissioners, we cannot sanitize the Electoral Commission. You understand? So, those who have the authority to appoint should begin to think about the broader national interest and the exceptional need for the Electoral Commission to be transparently independent. Now, maybe we should even be taking the power of appointment from where it is today and giving it to bodies which are likely, to be more independent and to take decisions which would enhance the independence of the Electoral Commission. You understand? Because as it is, look, there's all this talk about peaceful election, the need to have confidence in the commission. So I can tell you that I don't have any confidence in the commission. None whatsoever. There's no reason why I should have any confidence in this Electoral Commission. And that is not because I'm not patriotic. That is not because I don't want peace and so on.
But why?
If you go and appoint your party communicator, captured on television, swearing that he will do everything in his power to make sure that one party does not come to power, how can I have confidence in the Electoral Commission? That's the problem. You understand?
So if you take the powers of appointments from the presidency, where do you want it to go, for example?
Well, I think we all have to think together and find a place to locate that power. But clearly under the presidency it's not going.
You know, I think that I've spoken to, in the course of, I think the last 20 years, there are about 2 or 3 of the persons who were involved in the drafting of a constitution who have told me that, look, on hindsight, some of the powers vested in the president ought to change.
Sure.
And that the rationale, the spirit and the letter with which put out some of those pieces of legislation has been bastardized completely. They didn't think that a president or presidents will go to the extent that some presidents have gone in this Fourth Republic.
Oh, in Ghana, when you made president, you become a demigod.
Yes, I'm saying that they thought that a person holding the position of president will at least act
in balance.
Yes, and not
you'll be restrained,
you know,
by a certain sense of decorum.
Yes. So they didn't anticipate that we would actually get into the realms that we've got into, and and it looks like we keep going from bad to worse.
That's why
we keep extending the boundaries, and I always use the example of even the issue of contracts. If you go and read the spirit behind that piece of legislation in terms of giving people who have reached retirement age contracts, and you look at its application,
it's becoming the norm.
You will see that we've gone from even people in the institution who have reached retirement age to picking people from outside the institution and even the industry or the sector completely, and applying the same thing and appointing them. You know, and to be honest, I mean, it's difficult for me to say this, but sometimes we need to say it. And it looks like you have a seemingly pliant Council of State, where in instances where you see that the Council of State has even been brought in an adversarial role or something. I mean, to act as some check, even if it's from a moral our adversarial point of view. You see that instead of that thing happening, which appears to be the intent of the framers of the Constitution, that's rather a seemingly pliant. You know, it's quite difficult for me to looking at the kind of people who sit on bodies like that. But sometimes it must be said.
The 1993 Constitution clearly was intent on making presidents supermen.
Yeah.
Who have absolute power over everybody and everything.
Once you become a president.
So you have to be an exceptional president to restrain yourself.
Yeah.
You need an Atta Mills actually to be able to restrain yourself.
But you know, to be honest,
otherwise,
even President Rawlings, who some are people who have abused the powers and the Constitution most, claim that this Constitution was made to serve, did not do 10% of the things that the so-called civilians have done with this Constitution. No, I'm talking about with the Constitution. I'm not talking about, I'm saying with the Constitution.
But Randy, you're raising a very sensitive issue.
No, I'm telling you.
Very sensitive issue.
To be honest.
Yes, I hear all these civilian politicians, campaigning about the need to keep the military away from politics and so on. As if soldiers are not Ghanaians. They have the same rights and obligations as you, the politician. So there's an interest in ensuring that this state is governed properly.
They go to the same markets.
They go to the same market as we do and so on. And here we talk as if, as for soldiers, you know, they should just stay in the barracks. They should not be concerned about the value of the dollar. They should not be concerned about inflation. Are they not Ghanaians?
Even using the military in democratic elections in Ghana, who has applied it most?
Then the civilian.
Is it the civilians or the so-called military person?
Maybe with benefit of hindsight, we've forgotten some of the things that happened in those days. We can't recall them. But For me, I sincerely believe
I'm
that.
not even referring to pre.
Yes, so I'm talking about post 92. Maybe
I even want to take 92
to 2000.
96
I'm just saying that it's been almost 30 years down the line. So we may not remember all the things that, or we cannot recollect all the things that may have happened within that period. You know, maybe the abuses and all that, or abuse of power that may have occurred within that period. So maybe
I remember.
These ones are fresh.
I'm not one of those who doesn't remember. I remember very clearly. I remember Ekania, Ehai, I remember all those things. You understand?
Yes.
But some of the abuses today are horrifying.
So the way forward would be, no
integrity, nothing.
That's why, for me, I've always believed in the Westminster style of governance, where if it's not serving the purpose, we can always change it. You know, like it happened to Liz Truss and co. She was there for a week. The people didn't believe in her. Within that week, she was put aside, and new government was put in place, and they've continued, and it's been able to run till today. So,
but can that happen here?
That is what we should be looking at.
The majority of members of parliament, clear majority, including the majority on the majority side, agreed that the finance minister must go.
Yes, I was part of them.
When the issue was put to vote, what happened?
No. So the issue was not put. When the issue was put to vote, a decision had been made. We had arrived at some conclusions with the president. So it was based on that conclusions that we said no, we will not go out there to.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. We
had a full discussion with the president, and we came to some conclusions which rolled out over time, because yes, at that point in time, we believed that he should step aside for somebody else to continue. The president was of a different view. We negotiated, we agreed on some issues, and then because we wanted the state to continue running, we said, okay, let us allow it to be so. So it's not that we acquiesced or we, we let down our guard. No, we actually went the full.
What happened is so clear. And I'll give you another example.
The military was called into parliament.
You have a situation where...
No, he's talking about when...
You have a situation where the majority...
The finance minister wanted to say Ken must go.
But you have a situation where the majority is ready to actually go to war because it thinks that e-levy is the best thing that could ever happen to this country and so on.
It's true.
In a twinkle of an eye, the same majority begins to say and to tell us that that's what e-levy.
So back to what you asked.
So why is the principle?
So back to what you were saying about the finance minister must go. When we were doing Ken must go, it was on the back of the e-levy thing, because he came with e-levy, and I think there was another one, property rates, as his solution to the problems that the world that we're going to hit. So to put the brakes on it. And he said that is what he needed. So we put in all the effort to make sure that he gets it. I was part of it, to make sure that he gets his e-levy, on condition that he will not let us hit the wall. That was the first. That's why I...
How could you have believed that e-levy would prevent you from hitting the wall?
Even if you didn't believe...
You were accelerating at top speed towards the wall.
He
had no brakes.
He said this was what he needs. And that's all he was asking of us to get him. So if we can get him that one, we will not hit the wall. So once we hit the wall, then he had to go. That was the whole argument. That was the basis of all the Ken must go. So the Ken must go had nothing to... for me, that was the only reason why I was part of Ken must go. That look, Ken must go because he said he wanted A. We've given him everything that he wants. And yet still we're not able to prevent this, the problem. And therefore, let's change. That was all. So it comes back to the same thing. It's not that the majority said we didn't want him and we still acquiesced. No. We agreed to something, and then eventually he stepped aside.
It's okay. No need to continue.
All right. Okay. All right. So you know, a lot of people are. It's good to have a global audience. A lot of people are giving us some information on the Kenyan thing, and I have some documents with respect to the whole thing. Yeah. And it says that, for example, this says that. Do you know that for all the revenue that Kenya collects, out of every 10, 6 goes to repaying the interest on their loans.
The same thing in Ghana.
Says, no wonder there's not much left for health education and other development. Colonialism has never ended. Says this is bigger than Ruto, but he can say no thank you and renegotiate. If he does not agree to their plans, they can withhold some money. Also in the documents, the privatization of state-owned companies, announcements coming up in October. So there's actually, they sent me actually a list. So the things that they're supposed to do throughout the year.
That's why the youth say
this is like phase 1.
They're going to attack
Occupy
IMF and World Bank because for them they see that as a but I mean colonialism has never ended. We are still in the neo-colonial phase. We need to fight it. We need to turn it around. We need to, in fact, in my view, even dissolve these artificial states that the Europeans created for us. And then build something for ourselves, something that we have designed and built for ourselves.
Tear down the boundaries, these useless boundaries, tear them down. You understand?
You know, we cannot continue to be what others have made us to be. We have to be who we are, you know, and sometimes people may think that it's too ethnocentric or, no, but we will even lose our languages. We are losing our culture. Today, when you go along the coast, Hutu, and nobody speaks the languages anymore. It's all gone.
We are losing our food.
Everything.
When was the last time you saw a pity? Yes, we are losing our food.
The one we call apiti.
It's some ripe plantain dish.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Apiti with corn dough and it's steamed.
Yes.
When was the last time you saw it?
So,
but who's going to teach how to do it? Those who will teach are dead.
You see,
but this should have been a challenge for the restaurant. It would have been a challenge for a restaurant. But they're all cooking Chinese and European.
Maybe the biblical restaurant at the cathedral have it, together with the manna and all those things. A pity. Maybe we can find it in Revelations.
No, but it's a tragedy. You know, it's a tragedy. You really feel it, especially when you travel abroad. When you go to China, everybody speaks their language. They speak, even in China, they have like 16 or 20, 30 languages. The Fujians speak their own language, the Uyghurs speak their own language, but they may have a common language that everybody understands, you know. But we've lost it. I mean, one time I was driving through somewhere in Nima, and I saw kids in Nima. Normally, you should expect them to be speaking Hausa. You know, I was going to buy suya, and I heard the children speaking in English, and Nima Susu Hausa Wonkabio, you know. And it's pathetic that we've gone that path, but I'm sure if we put our shoulder to the wheel, we can reverse it. It might not be reversed in our lifetime, but it must start from somewhere and then solve that problem.
Anyway, we need to go. Gentlemen, thanks for joining me. And Omni Basic is one of the banks that is making serious inroads as far as the financial sector is concerned. And they're having a health walk. It's the 5th and the series. And we'll be speaking with Dr. Philip Otimensa from the Omni Basic Bank about this particular health walk, why it's important, why they're doing it, why we should participate, and what makes it important. So Dr. Philip Otimensa of Omni Basic Bank is going to be here with me shortly.
Another day to stay on point. Toast is Friday, it's still on point. Watches Friday all day long. Still on point, yes, it's still on point. It's still on point. Watches Friday, it's still on point. For your bread, it's still creamy. On point. For your toast, it's still on point. It's yummy, delicious. It's still on point. Still on point, yes, it's still on point. It's still on point. Still on point, yes, it's still on point. It's still on point. For your toast. It's still on point. It's still on point. Fortune spread. It's yummy, delicious. It's still on point.
Fortune spread, delicious, creamy, and always on point. This advert is FDA approved.
Mama, Nancy Michino will be in Koye Crow. A mama ye boom, secondumia, Akija.
Nancy, me who say me no passing my cry. A mammy pulling me into one. Oh, you white. And you won't give us GC mixture and any capsules. Ah, your noom boom, and want some namokana. A boy and ma any memina. Ne ma ba ye obesima. Na bear must try your bemessima. Ya, we be one. I'm a net giant sour the shelly bottom. Now, when you never need to say, you owe you chop one. Give us GC mixture and a castle.
A pin for a batter, one more menu for one and Quada when you feel to me.
Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. And yes, it's time to talk about Omnibisic. Okay. You know, it took me about a month to be able to pronounce the name correctly. You know, I kept seeing it, and I was wondering how to pronounce it. But eventually, I go around it. So it's Omnibisic Bank. Okay. And with me on the show this morning is Dr. Philip Oti Benson of the bank. Doc, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Randy.
How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Your good self?
Good. We're here. Like they say in Chiakwawa.
Thank you, Milasi. It's good to be here.
Yes,
yeah.
Good to have you too.
Yeah.
Okay. So Omnibisic Bank. Tell us a bit about the bank.
Okay.
I told you my difficulty in
mentioning the name.
Yeah, around it.
First of all, the name is Omnibisic. Omnibisic Bank. Yes. Yes. Thank you. I want to thank you, Metro TV, for the opportunity, for the good relationship we have enjoyed with you over the years. I mean, Omnibisic Bank is a bank that was born out of a merger.
Okay.
You know, about 5 years ago, there was a banking sector consolidation process that the central bank started. And we were one of the mergers that were created out of that process. And I can say that it's the most successful in the sense that 5 years down the line, last year we were adjudged Bank of the Year.
Really?
Yes. We were adjudged Bank of the Year. We made very, very good profit. Return on equity is more than 25%.
Whoa.
Our total assets is almost 6 billion. And we are growing very fast. We also adjudged the fastest growing bank in Ghana. And CIMG also awarded us as a 5-star when it comes to customer service.
Okay.
And the list goes on and on. I would have loved to take you through the process, but for today,
so which entities constituted the merger?
Yeah, so the entities is ex-Omni, which was a fully Ghanaian bank, and then Sahel Sahara.
Okay. So Omni and Sahel Sahara.
Yes.
Okay.
But I mean, Sahel Sahara had to take on the name Basic, which is their global name.
Okay.
They are present in 14 African countries, including Ghana.
So that's the Omni Basic.
Yes.
Okay. So both banks have their.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I see. So what's the focus of the bank? In which areas? What's the focus?
You know, the bank takes care of everybody. You know, when we look at individuals and families, we have products and services to serve individuals and families. And we also have products and services to serve SMEs, commercial entities, and corporates. So if you sum it up, we're a universal bank.
Okay.
You know, we serve everybody, and recently you will find us more, introducing more products and services in the digital banking space.
Okay.
So to make banking more convenient for our customers. But besides that, if you want to remember, one thing that you should know us for is about customer service. We believe that banks are identical, products and services are identical. But where we make the difference is when you encounter us. It's just different.
Are you an Accra bank?
No, we are present in almost all the regions except the new ones.
Oh.
Yes, and a few of so we are not in Wa, but we are up to Tamale.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I see. Yes. All right. So you're a bank, and simply put, you take our monies through your products and services. You lend us money for our business and others. What has the health work got to do with your business as a bank? I mean, you have your mission, you have your vision, you have all the things that you do. What has the health work got to do with it?
Yeah. I mean, Randy, thank you very much. Very good question. You know, banking is all about people. And if you understand people, you understand business. So starting point why we came to this is that, as a merged bank, we thought, how do we bring our people together? Because you know that there will be cultural differences. So the health work is one of the things that we instituted to build a strong team. But besides that, we're always in the office as banks, and it's the experts will tell you that sitting for so long in the office can be very dangerous. And so we've brought this to encourage our staff to do the health work once a quarter, so we do it together. But besides that, we also encourage them to do it on their own. Okay, so the health work, if you like, is more like the big show.
Okay.
But our staff always do it. In fact, we've registered almost all our managers.
Yes. It's a way of life.
It's a way of life, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But you try to actually do a big outdoor event once in a while.
Yes.
So is this the first?
No, this will be the fifth edition.
Fifth?
Yes. We do it every quarter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I have the previous ones gone. Now I'm seeing some pictures here. Yes. This should be pictures from some of the previous ones. Maybe last year or the previous one. The last one you held?
Yeah, this is the last one.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
So, and it's been very successful. So the first time we did it, we got roughly about 1,000 participants, so staff and then clients. Okay.
Oh, you encourage your clients to join too?
Absolutely, yes.
So it's not just staff?
No, not just staff.
Okay.
We invite our clients and all our stakeholders. Then from then on, we've hit 2,000 plus. So the last time we did, we were more than 2,000 people. So in summary, it's been very successful. And we expect this one to be even better.
So let's speak about the upcoming one. When is it? Where is it starting from? How many kilometers? What's the route? Yes.
Yeah,
how do we get there?
Yeah. Thank you very much. So the next one, we are starting from State House, and then we connect from State House to National Theatre.
So State House opposite the conference center?
The conference center,
okay.
Yes. And we start at 5:30 a.m.
5:30 a.m.?
Yes.
That's on Saturday?
On Saturday, coming Saturday, yes. Then we connect to State House, then to Accra City Hotel. Then from there,
formerly Novotel.
Formerly Novotel, yes. Then from there we connect to Kojo Thompson Road, to Accra Psychiatric, to the SU Enclave.
Okay.
Then down to GBC, and then we connect to MTN head office.
Okay.
Back to the Ridge Roundabout, and then we go back to the State House.
Okay. So it starts at the State House and ends there.
Yes.
Okay.
It's about a 10-kilometer walk.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, and is it just the walk? Are we going to see other things? Will the bank's product be on display? Will there be some talk? I mean, is it just the walk? We start, we finish, and that's it?
Yeah, thank you very much. Good question. So first of all, we use that to fraternize, to connect with our staff, with our clients. So after the work, when we go back, we do aerobics, and we try to connect on that platform. Then we'll have also clients coming to exhibit their products, and we will also be there.
Oh.
As I speak to you now, we have almost 100 clients who have applied to.
So you're creating an exhibition platform?
Yes.
Okay. At the State House?
Yes.
All right. Okay. That would be interesting.
So Metro TV is also invited.
Yeah. We'll be there.
To come.
We'll be there. I saw some of my people in some t-shirts. I didn't understand what it was about. And now I understand.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. So that's Saturday.
Yeah.
5:30 a.m. from the State House.
Yes.
And through all the routes that you've told us, and back to the State House, and then we'll have the exhibition there. Okay, and the exhibition will have both Omni Basic and many of your clients exhibiting their products.
Absolutely.
There.
Yes.
So it probably will be a whole day affair.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We should leave the venue by 12.
By noon.
Yes, by noon. Yes.
Okay. So that's like half a day.
Half a day. Yes.
All right. Yes. Okay. All right. I'm told by those who attended the previous one that it was really exciting. Apart from the health part, there was a lot of networking. Yeah. All right. So Philip, we'll be there on Saturday to join you, and for all of you, our audience, you're invited to join the Omni Basic and Friends Health Walk. Okay, interesting pictures there on the screen. Okay. I haven't seen Mr. Daniel Asiedu there.
You see him very soon. He's always in front.
It's awful. Anyway, so I mean, all roads lead to the forecourt of the State House on Saturday. It starts at 5:30 a.m. and it's a 10-kilometer walk. And after that, a lot of networking opportunities for everybody. So we'll see you. We'll be there.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Philip, for joining me.
Thank you for
you didn't tell us, what do you do at the bank?
I'm the Chief Operating Officer.
Oh, big man.
Oh. And Randy, let me use this opportunity to personally invite you.
Yes.
It will be good to see you there.
I'll be there. So for those of you who do not know, let me just say this. Philip and I are not strangers. We were mates in doctoral school. We did our doctorate together. So we are not new to each other. So thank you very much, Dr. Philip Otibeza. I will see you on Saturday.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. So that's about it for Good Morning Ghana. And up next, Metro Sports.
Join me every week as we embark on a flavor-filled adventure